Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and more this year, I've actually been looking into emulation. And as I've considered different emulation devices, one thing is becoming more and more clear. There really isn't a one-stop shop for the best emulation device. They all kind of have their pluses and they have their minuses. And the other thing that I'm noticing with some of them, or at least the ones that I've actually been able to hold and touch, is that a lot of them feel very plasticky. They feel very poorly made. There's not a lot of durability to them. And so, whenever I hold an emulation device, I feel like the max amount of time I'm going to get out of them is probably about 5 years, if that, which has kind of forced me to look back to my retro game collection, the original hardware that I have, and say, okay, what devices in my video game collection can I use to convert into emulation devices? What would be some of the best devices for emulating video games? And there were two that really stood out to me, primarily because whenever I've done videos on this topic, usually these are some of the devices that I get the most comments on, and these are the devices that I'm referred to the most. The first being the Nintendo Wii U. Now, a lot of people say that they've kept their Wii U for emulation simply because of the fact of the Wii U library isn't super impressive, and with the Nintendo Switch being out, in a lot of cases there really isn't a reason to play games on the Wii U. Most of the standout titles that were released on the Wii U have already been ported over to the Switch. And so it is really not, there's really not a large use case. Don't get me wrong, there's gonna be those diehard Wii U fans that say, you know what, I still use my Wii U, I play it all the time. You've got those big fans of Devil's Third, people who are playing Devil's Third all the time. But a lot of people have, from what I've seen in my comment section, they've told me how they've leveraged their Wii U system for all types of emulation. And I think when you consider the fact that the Wii U also has a very, very versatile controller, which kind of mimics a lot of the Pro controllers we see in the Wii U Pro controller, I think this controller is a very usable controller for a lot of games that you might want to emulate. It does have the dual analog sticks, has the D-pad here, and I think if I were to start emulating games on some type of original hardware, the Wii U does offer some accessories, and it does offer things that I think would make that pretty cool to try out. So I'm very unaware rather of the technical aspects of getting into emulation and how it would actually, do that with a Wii U, in terms of jailbreaking it, so to speak, and getting it to that point. But I think the Wii U might be a console that I'm willing to take that chance with. I'm willing to tamper with the Wii U and use it in that way to be able to kind of emulate and see what I could get out of it in that regard. And that would be more so for a stationary system that's not moving around. This would be more home-based emulation. When it comes to mobile emulation, like a handheld emulation device, you guys have seen me talk about this on the channel a few times. One of my devices that I've been heavily considering is my PS Vita, the Model 2 PS Vita. This is the one that I've actually been really considering for emulation for a few reasons. One, I would rather keep my jet black piano OLED Vita just stock. I really don't want to mess with that one. That's the one that I have actually complete in box. So I kind of want to keep that one stock, and I don't really want to mess with that one too much. Plus, I also have a number of games that I've purchased off the PlayStation Network that I have on there that I've downloaded to there. And so that one's going to be kind of like my legal, abiding by the video game laws handheld device. But I do have a secondary PS Vita that I had gotten at a pawn shop a long time ago, got a really good deal on it. And this Vita was actually in like new condition. So the condition is great. It's a little lighter than my other Vita, but I think it's still very usable. It's very usable. I think for a handheld device, It's wide enough. You know, I have kind of like medium to large hands, I would say. So for me, you know, this fits in my hand well. I think the screen is really bright and beautiful, better than really almost any other screen that I would have seen on kind of like a Amber Nick, or you know, or on a Miu, or on any of those handheld devices. I think this one is really bright. I can't remember if this one has internet capability or not. And I don't know if jailbreaking these devices to use them for emulation impacts your ability to kind of go online with them or not. But this is the other device that I was considering for handheld use, specifically if I'm going on the go, specifically if I'm doing any kind of run and gun type of run and gun. So yeah, basically run and gun. If I'm running and gunning, if I'm traveling and I'm not going to be stationary like the way that I would with the Wii U, the PS Vita is the device that I would have considered, or that I would consider to be the device that I could use for emulation. And I think there's probably a lot more that I could do on this device in terms of systems that I can, you know, download to it and things of that nature and use it. So these are the two devices that I'm considering. I know their original hardware for Nintendo and Sony respectively, but to me, from a durability standpoint, I tend to see that these devices really stand the test of time. The PS Vita, when did the PS Vita end? What, 2016, somewhere around there? So we're coming up on at least 10 years for both devices in terms of how long they've been around. And you know, even with use, because clearly some use has been put into the Wii U, it's pretty durable. And the same could be said. The PS Vita is also pretty durable, so I don't have as many concerns when it comes to whether this thing will last or not. For me, it's just more the technical aspect and making sure that I do it the right way and I'm able to get the right games on these devices. So let me know down in the comments what you guys would recommend in terms of the different the different systems that you would recommend I download to the Wii U, and the same for the PlayStation Vita. If you guys know of any emulation software that will work best with either of these devices, that's compatible with either of these devices, let me know down in the comments. It's something that I'm seriously considering. I really don't want to spend any more money on any other devices or anything like that, just because of all the investments that I recently made into my camera gear and my videography hobby. So really just kind of want to see how I can do this for the least money possible. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm thinking about. You guys let me know what's the best route to go when it comes to turning these two devices into emulation devices. But other than that, I will catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.